All right, I thought I'd share something I just picked up. This is a KOSS Pro 4A headphone, aka stereo phone. This headphone was originally released in, I believe, 60s originally, but this box tells you that this is one of the later models from the 70s, as evidenced by the manuals inside, which say that the KOSS Pro 4AA was already being sold at that time, and that started in 1970. So this one's probably from the early 70s when they were selling these at the same time. So just look over the box first. Looking very similar to the current KOSS Pro 4AA box, kind of the retro styling. KOSS Electronics, Milwaukee. The box is not in perfect shape, but I'm pretty happy with the condition that it's in. All right, let's take a look inside the box. All right, here we are inside the box. It did come with the original kind of display plastic shield and the original bag that the headphones came in. Let's take them out and take a look at them. These things are just absolutely beautiful. I would say they don't make them like this anymore, but honestly, the KOSS Pro 4AA, the current ones, look about the same quality as these. As you can see, I did replace the pads. I pulled the pads off my Pro 3 AAs, which I got much nicer squishy pads for, so these look a lot nicer than the flat pads that this had when I got it. But I mean, these things are mint. Absolutely mint. I mean, I just wonder if these were ever used, to be honest with you. Maybe they were used a couple times and put back in the box. But what's really nice here, I mean, look at the cord. The cord's got no stretching, no kinking. It's perfect. Regular 1/4-inch jack. And this was the kind of the really nice part about this, is that you got all the manuals that came with this, including the original catalog. And I'll go slowly over here if you want to pause. So there's the ESP9, KO727B, K6LC, K6, has some accessories listed. Something I never heard of called SP55M, which is apparently a pair of headphones that can switch between stereo and mono. And the SP3XC was still being sold at this time for a reasonable $19.95. There's ESP6. I have one of those too. I picked it up for 30 bucks on Craigslist. There's the ESP7. Again, like I said, here's the KOSS Pro 4AA, which is already being sold. This tells me this is from 1970 something. And there's the Pro 4A, which is what this is. I'm not sure why it says 450 ohms right there, because according to in terms of the impedance, the manual, which I'll show you in a second, says that this was 200 ohms, no, 150 ohms, and it says 2 times 150 ohms. I don't know if that means it's 300 ohms. I'm not sure how they measure that. But apparently you could have a 600 ohm version of the Pro 4A for an additional $5. I'm not sure if any of those are available anywhere, or even if you know if it was one of those. Supposedly it would say Pro 600A if that's the case. I'm pretty sure mine's the regular one, but who knows? And the last one listed is the KO727B. $50, that's really expensive when you consider this is from the early 70s. That would be equivalent to, I'm gonna say $400 these days is what this headphone cost, the Pro 4A. And then of course the Pro 4 AA is selling for 60. So let's say $500 or $600 for those as well. Which is interesting when you think that you can buy a brand new Pro 4 AA on Amazon for $70. So it's gone up $10 in 50 years. But I think that's kind of nice. Now, let's look at the actual manual. Oh, by the way, I got the warranty card. The original tag that was on the headphones, like in mint condition. And here's the manual. Kind of pause, if you want to pause, if you want to look at that. But if you go inside here, see it says 150 ohms each channel. I've never seen them use the term each channel with regards to the ohms. But I don't know if that means that these are actually 300 ohms or if that's the regular way that we measure ohms. If anybody could tell me in the comments, I'd appreciate it. But they had the fluid-filled pads. I don't need to show you those. They're just flat, like all those. The fluid always leaks out. But with these, it makes it look really modern and nice. Those pads are actually a little bit tricky to replace because they don't work like you normally see the pads. It didn't have like a little groove that you insert this portion into. It just kind of stretched around the top. That's how that's installed, in case you're wondering how that happens. Amazing to me is this foam that's back here is still in good shape. It's not falling apart. I'm not sure what kind of foam they use. It's probably something that's dangerous, like asbestos or something, who knows. But how could it last that long? Just regular foam lasts 60 years or 55 years. Kind of amazing. But now the last thing I'm going to talk about here is the sound quality. They work, but I mean, you have to look at the standards of what a headphone would sound like in the 70s. I don't think bass was a big deal back in those days. I think very few. Music didn't really have a lot of bass, so these tend to be a little bit, the bass is really, really not even there, barely there. But the mids sound nice, has a lot of, the way I looked at these headphones is the way people describe the Grado headphones is kind of how I think this headphone sounds, in that there's a lot of high piercing notes that come out of it and very little bass. I'm not talking about the new Grados, like I have a SR125X, and that it could not be described as being a headphone without bass. It definitely has bass, but this one really doesn't. It's there barely. It's really recessed. But I'm kind of proud of these headphones. I think I got a decent deal. They were $50 on eBay, and really good seller. Shipped them quick, and it was really way better than what I was expecting. So hope you enjoy this video, and you have a great day.